Today I'm going to teach you how I cook a turkey. With just a few ingredients, I'll teach you how to prepare a delicious dinner.
Hi, I'm Caitlin with Cooking with Caitlin, and today we are here at Findlay Market in Cincinnati, Ohio. For Thanksgiving, if you're not cooking for that many people and you're not interested in buying a whole bird, go to your local butcher and always ask for the turkey breast or turkey thighs. That way you can make great dinner just in smaller portions. Let's get cooking. Hi, I'm Caitlin with Cooking with Caitlin, and today I'm going to teach you how to roast a turkey. This is a great recipe, especially just in time for fall. For this recipe, you need a few ingredients. For the turkey, I bought a 13-pound turkey. For the basting, I like to do apple cider vinegar, apple butter, a little salt, and some fresh sage. Underneath the skin, I like to do fresh rosemary, thyme, and butter. And then for an additional side dish, you can always roast some beets, onions, and potatoes with the turkey. For the basting liquid, I use apple cider vinegar for a little bit of kick, about 1 cup. Next, I'm going to add apple butter. This adds some sweetness and creaminess to the basting liquid, about a 1/2 cup. Spoon it in there. Next, we're going to add about a teaspoon of salt. This will really help heighten all the flavor. The last ingredient you're going to need is some fresh sage, about 10 leaves per batch of basting liquid. The great thing about adding the fresh herbs while the liquid is cold is when you bring it up to a boil, it'll really make the herbs smell great and it'll kind of steep in the basting liquid. Once all of your ingredients are combined, you want to stir it up just to get it started, and then take it to the burner and bring it up to a boil. Once you can start to smell the sage and the apple, you want to turn it down to a low simmer until you keep basting it the whole time through. Next, I'm going to make a compound butter that I like to rub underneath the skin of the turkey. First, I use 3 sticks of butter. I like to use the salted kind. That way the salt's already in there. Now to the butter, I'm going to add about 6 sprigs of fresh rosemary. And to pick rosemary off the stem, it's kind of like thyme. You just hold the top and you can peel down. There you go. I'm going to do about 6 of these. And now I'm going to do about 10 sprigs of fresh thyme. Just pull it off and put it on top of the rosemary. Once you're done picking your fresh herbs, you want to make sure that you chop them very fine because people are going to eat them, so you don't want any woody, chunky pieces in your butter. Now that I'm all finished chopping my herbs, you just want to dump it in with the butter. Once your herbs are added, you just want to mix it up with your hands. For the last piece of prep before we tackle the turkey, I like to throw root vegetables in with the turkey underneath so that they can roast. That way you'll have an instant side item with cooking your turkey. I like to do fingerling potatoes because they're really tiny and they roast in the perfect amount of time. Just pour them on. And then these are cipollini onions. They're little baby onions, and when you roast them for a really long amount of time, they become sweet and kind of melt and are spreadable. So just throw a few in. And then finally, I like to do beets. They get really, really sweet when they're roasted. Just quarter them. Now that your roasting pan is all ready, it's time to tackle the turkey. This is usually what most turkeys look like when you buy them from the grocery store. So you just want to pop open the plastic. And be careful, there tends to be a lot of juice at the bottom. Lift it up and let it drain a little bit. You can see the extra liquid. There you go. For a turkey, there's actually 2 cavities. There's the neck cavity and then the back, like tail feather cavity. Usually in the tail feather cavity is where you'll find the gizzards. That's kind of all the inside stuff that you don't really want. And it comes in a little bag, so you don't have to worry about fishing it out yourself. Then you can also find the neck usually inside too. Unless you want to make a really good stock or broth, you can just throw these away. There you go. Now we're going to rub our butter in. First, you want to separate the skin. This is where it gets a little hands-on. I like to rub butter underneath the skin because it creates a really crunchy crust and a really juicy meat. Plus, with all the herbs and as long as it cooks, it adds a ton of flavor. You even want to separate the skin right where the thighs are. The more places you can separate the skin, the more places to put butter and the more flavorful your bird will be. Also, when you buy a turkey, there's usually these little red dot things. It actually is a thermometer and it'll pop up once your turkey is done, but I would not recommend just going by these. Now it's time to start with the butter. You just kind of want to get a big palmful and break it off in nuggets and then push it underneath. And then leave it there. And then from the top, you can actually spread it so it doesn't get too messy. And you can see where it goes. After you've smeared all the butter underneath and you've got extra butter, I actually like to put some of it within the cavities. That way when the butter melts, the herbs will start to kind of aerate the bird from the inside out. And also, you want to rub it even just on top. There you go. And make sure you get the wings too. You want everything to be covered in butter. Once you get the first side, you want to make sure that you flip it over and get the other side too. You want every part of the bird to have a lot of flavor. Now that the bird is completely ready to start cooking, you want to make sure it's steady on top of the vegetables so that it won't be moving around. And then you want to do your first round of basting. I preheated my oven for 325 degrees and my bird is 13 pounds. So between 10 and 18 pounds, you cook your bird for 3 to 3.5 hours or until the internal temperature is about 180 degrees. Now we're going to pop it in the oven. Your turkey will take about 3 to 3.5 hours to cook. Every hour you want to make sure you baste it with that apple cider basting liquid we created for that extra amazing flavor. At the last half an hour, you want to make sure you cover the breast and the thighs with some tin foil, just to make sure you don't overcook your bird. Ours is finished. Now that's an amazing bird. Thank you for tuning into this episode of Cooking with Caitlin. For more great tips and ideas for this holiday fare, please check out cookingwithcaitlin.com.